Yeah.
No, or is that
Jesus Christ Superstar?
Jesus Christ Superstar? Tell me
That
what's
might be the
happening.
first thing people hear. Just us saying Jesus Christ
Mary,
Superstar.
ooh, that is good.
Oh yeah, here we are. Nice. We're up. We're up. Sheila's singing some uh Jesus Christ Superstar. We got Carrie. We got Sheila. We got Tina. We got Nate. No Scott tonight. Sad stuff. Nate, how's it sounding? Am I a buzzy little bear?
I don't hear fuzz on this end, but I think I hear fuzz on the video end, ironically. But I don't know if that's because I have them both up at the same time. Also, the first thing that anybody heard was you saying the first thing that anyone hears.
Oh, neat. That's that.
Yeah.
What a special time.
Yeah.
Well, so sorry, friends. Sorry, David Lustig, if you're listening. There's a buzz in my microphone. Maybe it'll go away. It only ever happens when I'm streaming. It doesn't happen for my professional voiceover services, which you can buy now at any time, because that's what I do full time these days. So just don't judge me by that, okay? We're just here to play Dungeons and Dragons. You're worried about it. I'm worried about it. Now I'm in my head. I can't play Dungeons and Dragons like this. David, go make some bread. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Danny.
Everybody who's here. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Zepp Wild Chaser is not here, but he will be played by the collective group. Last time we played, you guys were on the first island of the Spine of the Serpent. Some force seemed to usher you in to the Spine of the Serpent very nicely and kindly, where you were met with a stone obelisk that questioned your intents and said that evil doers must offer a sacrifice. You didn't seem to be required to do such a thing. Instead, you were given quite a warm and wonderful welcome, where some bird people gave you some food. The next day, you took an amulet that you had taken from a manticore that you had fought and killed the previous day to a temple where you met Phil and Baco, two treant coconut trees that had apparently been there for centuries, but two lovers that have been transformed into trees to watch over this temple-like structure of the Spine of the Serpent, which you discovered was an old creature that the gods had created before they created the rest of the world, and realized that they had to kill this creature in order to let anything else survive on the plane. And that is where you are. You have gone through the structure. You have heard of creatures known as the Yuan Ti, who seem to be evil and shifting the balance of good and evil that naturally occurs in this land that was once a serpent. And the things you've been learning about the Plunder King seem that they might be having some sort of effect on that. Immediately upon going through the doors, which you just have, you see a tunnel stretched out before you of jungle that seems to be blown, kind of making this like nice tunnel of trees where like there's this magical wind that's creating a very open path for you. And that is where we left off. So friendship group.
Where do you think the animals are?
To
Do you
proceed.
think there'll be like signs telling us about the animals?
Do you see signs? Is that what you're asking?
I want it. What do we think? Where are the animals? Right? It's supposed to be a zoo. Do you think we'll learn about the animals?
I don't think it's an educational organization. I think it's just mostly a tunnel full of animals, like naturally occurring, maybe the kind that could jump out and bite us.
Do you think there'll be a sign that's like, hey, don't feed this animal because it's ancient and will probably kill you?
I don't think so. I'll be honest.
And also, like, fun fact, it weighs this much. and sounds like a goat.
You're thinking of, I believe people will call them zoos.
Yeah, they said this was like a zoo.
I think it has the capacity of a zoo.
Like a zoo in that respect, yes.
We'll see. I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to it. I honestly don't feel threatened by anything when I have you guys around. I mean,
Friendship group.
yeah, well, first off, friendship group. Secondly, I mean, we've murdered a lot of things so far, pretty easily, frankly.
But first and foremost, friends.
We're friends and murderers second.
Yeah, that is the order I prefer. Thank you.
Yes.
When it's required of us.
Of course.
I didn't say, like, I know you guys are like elves and humans and human elves, but like Tritons, when they do what we do, or what I just call myself a warrior, not a murderer.
It's a nicer name for the same thing, don't you think?
But well, I haven't thought about it a lot, but like I feel like anytime I've ever killed something, it was actively engaged in the process of trying to kill me, which makes me feel like that's not murder.
Yeah, I was thinking.
This is all great. Just in your mind, are you guys talking and walking right now, or is this a conversation that's happening as you are there?
I think we are about to go in because we need to be a little bit more situationally aware.
So you guys are like stopping and talking.
I was imagining walking, and then I have danger sense.
I was totally imagining walking.
Okay, then we're walking. Never mind.
Okay.
We're all walking.
So as you guys are having this conversation, which will definitely go on, the tunnel of trees that you start to see, you do notice that it starts to diminish and become more of an overgrown jungle. And you're kind of worried for a second as you see it shaping down of like, oh no, like how are we going to know where to go? Because this is like super dense jungle. But the trees themselves are actually moving to create a path for you once the tunnel goes. So it's more of kind of like the plants just kind of move, and sometimes you have to kind of like bend through them and things like that. But it's more of a jungle trek now. But it's definitely eased by the fact that these trees are allowing your passage.
I want to do. Can we do a perception check?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Make
Sure. Sorry, you guys can keep talking. I just wanted to let you know what you were saying. What exactly are you trying to perceive here, Quentin? What are you?
Oh, hold on. I'm not logged in. I'm an idiot.
That's okay.
Oh, rookie.
It's also not Quentin. What is he? Something.
Sailor Quentin on this island, or
I have not decided what I am in the tunnel.
I thought. Oh,
Oh,
the
that's
tunnel's
cool.
different. Okay, got it.
Tunnel's not an island.
But the Sailor Quentin was on the ship. I forget.
Sailor Quentin was on the ship.
It was Q something.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, it was something on the island, like Island Q or something like that. But
yeah, island.
I think I'm honestly, I think Quentin Hallsteyer in the tunnel. I think I'm full name.
Love it.
I get it.
Change your Zoom name.
What am I looking at? Is your question?
Yeah. So, what are you trying to perceive? Like, what are you just trying to get general
danger, animals, like.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
All right. $12.
You kind of immediately note kind of what I was saying before of just the walking. Nothing super interesting. You do note that the trees do kind of converge after you as you go. So it does seem like the trees, at least, are on your side with this. You hear animals, nothing too threatening, but you know, this is like there's a sense of danger about this that's kind of terrifying. I mean, the last adventure you went on was in a cave, but you were still a day's walk from a town that you knew something about. This is a little more concerning, just because you don't know when the last time any sentient life had walked these forests, this jungle. It's really interesting to be in a place that feels like it's been around forever, and has this weird kind of like everything just feels alive around you. It's just so vibrant. If you've ever been to like the redwood forest or something like that, there's just like a feeling about it of just like, oof, like I'm small and I have not lasted long and I won't last long on a long enough timeline. And that's like what you're feeling.
I'm also looking on the lookout for any sort of like anything that looks like it could be worth something. I've just got my eye out for that.
Yeah. Nothing immediately.
Do you have to like cut our path?
Nope.
Okay, great.
The trees move for you.
Oh.
I'll sing a song. Before we go. It's called WAP, but it's We're All Partying.
Great. I love it. So, you're walking, you're singing, the trees are kind of moving. It's hot. I mean, it's sticky. It's kind of like a rainforest type deal. At some points you go through and you don't see the sun. It is like pretty dense. Like it's almost nighttime dark in some areas. The trees are giving you some light, but sometimes it's dimmer than others. So you're walking, you're continuing on, and what's our marching order here? Who would be up front?
I imagined I was up front.
Okay.
Is everyone all right with that? I don't know if that's true.
I'll be second.
Okay.
Hallsteyer and Zepp are the weakest, so I think they should be in the middle.
I think Zepp would probably insist on, or if not insist, Zepp would want to be directly in the middle with two on either side of him.
I'll just settle in right here in between my friends, because I like to kind of saunter, but you keep me moving.
Love it. Love it.
Kando, you have a bow and arrow. You have a bow and arrow and spells, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe if you bring up the rear, I'll take the middle since Kashanon and I use our fists.
Okay, I'll keep a lookout on what's behind us. Yes, that's good.
Okay. So as you guys are walking on, Kashanon, you're walking and you feel something flit across like the back of your neck. And you kind of like naturally, instinctively go to like smack it like a bug. Make a perception check for me if you would.
11.
You look around and you don't see anything that would have done that to you. Walking behind you is Quentin, right? You're right behind Kashanon, is that correct?
No, Zepp is right behind Kashanon.
Okay, if you could roll a perception check for Zepp too, he also feels it.
I shall do it.
And actually, each of you start to feel the same thing. Like it grazes across your cheek or your neck. So everybody roll a perception check for me.
It's funny, we all have the same perception bonus.
20, not natural.
Jesus.
6.
5.
You don't know what is happening here, and Vlaren, you see everybody kind of react and are smacking their necks and everything like that, and you see it coming, and that natural sense you have as a barbarian of just like a little bit of like danger in the air, you're like, something is up here. You hear next to your ear like a tiny like grunt that with your danger sense there, you like go to smack your neck, you don't hit anything, but you're like it touches you and you feel it go away, but as it passes you hear like as a noise.
Hello?
And can everybody roll a charisma saving throw for me?
Excuse me, grunty fairies? Charisma.
Got a 20.
Woo! 16.
What is that? Never mind.
What was your roll, Carrie?
13.
I got Quentin got a 19. Zep got a 17.
Okay. So, yeah. You said, Valerian?
16.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You said something after.
Oh, sorry. Hello, excuse me, grunty fairies? The fairy who just grunted in my ear? Hey guys, whatever is like hitting us, I don't think they're bugs in like the traditional bug way. One just grunted at me. Maybe they're a zoo animal.
Fairy people, we mean you no harm. Please stop dive bombing us.
As you say that, you notice flying up in front of you, Quentin, and there's another one that flies up in front of you, Valerian, and just pops out of invisibility. You see a tiny humanoid creature with what you would describe to be dragon wings, like dragonfly wings, wearing like twig-based clothing and like a little twig short bow on their back. The one in front of you, Quentin, has red hair, all kind of done up in like a dollop straight up there, and like a little red goatee. And the one in front of you, and when I say red, I mean like the color red, like not like orange hair, like the color red. And the one in front of you, Valerian, is a female, and her hair is kind of silvery and very thin, and she's wearing kind of blue, almost like gossamer thread armor. It's definitely like kind of like functional armor in front of them, and they're flying just in front of you, kind of like one leg behind their back, looking at you. Just as an idea, this is what the creature would look like there.
Sweet.
My God, I love your armor. That blue. It's gorgeous.
She says to you, if you would kindly all circle around so we can see you all at once, and flips over to the one with the red hair in front of Quentin, and he says to you, yeah, we know your intent. We're just curious about what you're doing here.
We didn't bring any tents.
No, Valerian, don't worry about that. I got this one. Okay.
Flanking behind them, you see two more appear. One is a kind of like brutish one who's wearing like heavy tree bark around it, like short crop topped hair. And the other one looks almost identical to that one, but it's wearing kind of like same kind of gossamer like thread as the other one, but it almost kind of like sparkles and like crackles come off of it. Same haircut, almost like they look like they are twins, and they're kind of just up behind the two that are talking to you there.
All right. What formation did you need us in?
Just gather together so we can. We don't want to be flying from person to person.
Okay. Everybody, gather in.
Right?
Hi, I'm Quentin. We're the friendship group, as it's known. We passed through. We met. What are the tree men's names?
Phil and Baco.
Phil and Baco at the entrance, and they gave us permission to use this to traverse to the end of the tunnel.
Well, that explains it. And he turns over to the female with the gossamer thread, and she kind of sighs and says, oh, well, it's pretty clear that you're not from around here. Just a hint, you might not want to go around playing songs loudly in this forest.
Oh, okay. You don't like WAP?
Rap was a little much for the terrain, you know?
Well, it's loud.
Oh, well, we're sorry. We hadn't seen anyone. We didn't realize we were in a residential area.
Well, thankfully, you're not too close to any of our permanent homes.
Well, yeah.
But if you've been trusted to come in here and we have checked you out and you pass, then your intent is good and we'll accept your passage. And then from the back, the one that's all in like the bark layer, he just kind of goes and points over at Kashanon and says, she's in love.
What?
Oh,
What?
that's a pretty special talent of yours. You can tell when people are in love?
And Tangy, the red-haired one, I just gave his name,
I love that name.
back at it and says, Timber, enough, all right? Just enough. Yeah, we can tell your heartbeats. We know that there's goodness in your hearts, and Timber apparently checked you out, and good for you.
You like doctors? Can you like tell if we like have high cholesterol and stuff too? Like you like, are you like heart doctors?
It doesn't quite work like that. I had some training in healing, but no, we're not functional doctors.
Can you do matchmaking? Because Kashanon over here has got a little bit of a crush.
I don't know.
The big British one is like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's very true. I had a question. What are your names?
As soon as you say that, the one with the fuzzy hair kind of puts his hands on his hips and he calls out and he goes, Sprocket, sound off. And from next to him, the one with the gossamer thread and everything like that, she twirls around and like a little bit of shimmering dew comes off of her, and she like strikes a little pose and goes, Cirrus. And the red-haired one next to her flicks the top of his head and says, Tangy. And then behind him, there's a big thump, and he pounds the big armor that he has, and like little like wood chips come off of him, and he goes, Timber! And then from around him, darting back and forth real quick and burning those pieces of wood that slid off, is the other one, and he comes up to his sides. It's Flare!
Wow.
All right.
Was impressive.
Later on, we should all introduce ourselves that way down the road. Just saying.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the best introduction I've seen in a very long time. That was great.
Well, thanks. We practice it a lot.
Yeah, it shows. It shows in a good way.
It's kind of nice to have somebody to show it off to. I mean, most of the time we're fighting around here, so like we do it, but we do it like after we kill things, and it's like sometimes one's like kind of still alive and but it feels kind of disrespectful. So it's nice to do it.
An artist needs an audience. I get it.
Yeah.
What kind of things are you killing? I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, I mean, our run is just about done. We'll be heading back over the Shimmer Ward pretty soon, but we did have one more assignment actually just over the ridge over here. We were kind of regrouping and deciding, but honestly, we might be a little bit outnumbered.
Oh?
So, and then Cirrus says, well, it's a complicated issue. There are a lot of forces at play, and we come in and we try to clean up where we can, but just lately there's just been so much. I mean, it's just been rough, and creatures that we used to be able to keep at bay are really kind of getting a boost that we didn't really expect. Our current assignment is to deal with the grung infestation, but honestly, when we got the orders issued from the summer court months ago at this point, I don't think they could have known what we'd be walking into. It's not for the four of us, even the sprockets, to handle.
Well, maybe it's time for a team up between the sprockets and the friendship group.
And you see behind you, like, the timber is like, and he's like super pumped that you suggested that. And Tangy kind of like shoots him another look. He says, "Well, I mean, if you be willing to, yes."
I'm so sorry.
You don't have to apologize. You don't have to raise your hand.
It's a Triton thing. What are grung?
And Cirrus says, well, grung are smaller than you. They're, how do you describe a grung? They're like frogs, but they're also like people. They're very tribal. They're poisonous, very potent.
Oh, so you shouldn't kiss them.
Oh, definitely. Definitely I would avoid kissing them. I've seen strange things happen to people. They're slavers, or they take people as playthings. It's an interesting dynamic. But these particular grung, they pull evil. So sometimes we're in coordination with them, but now they've been seeming to pair up with the UNT Serpent people, and it's become problematic. But most of the time, they draw in sailors, evil sailors, who haven't paid the price on the way past. They have plants that send out spores that drive sailors mad and make them swim to the shores, and those sailors eat of the plant that's there and slowly grow into the plants over time. The plants feed off of human and sentient life force.
Do we need, like, some masks then to go fight them? Like, are they gonna spore us?
Yeah, it's the spores are out on the sea. They pull in sailors. I wouldn't eat any of them. That's what really drives you mad. We saw a poor sucker, this poor dwarven guy. He basically, you just keep eating, and you just, until you're just a big old blob of a person, and then the plants eat you, and the grungs do stuff with you. It's a mess. I wouldn't eat any of them.
Got it. No kissing, no eating. Try not to breathe too much. Got it.
I'll be honest. Other than the breathing one, I think none of that was a problem.
Your hearts are true, so there shouldn't be anything that you need to worry about. But you know, you all seem capable. We overheard a conversation about murdering or being a warrior. It all is under. If you're capable in a fight, I think you'll be okay.
Semantics, right? Relative.
Timber kind of like,
I like you, Timber.
Wow.
Okay, so how many grung? Like, should we have a strategy as we team up, or are we just like getting in there?
Well, I suppose we could talk strategy, definitely. We're dealing with a lot of grung, to be honest. Usually any of us can probably take 1 to 2. I mean, we've taken down a group as big as 10 on a good day, but I think we're dealing with more. It's quite an infestation up on the terrain is they've taken over a waterfall that pours out into the ocean, and the sailors swim upstream of that inlet of the river. I don't know. We typically use our stealth as best we can and try to take out their leaders. Grung come in different colors. If you want to really throw things off, you go for the reds and you go for the purples. We've seen traces of maybe colors that are a head or taller or bigger than that. But if you take out their leadership, it sometimes makes the smaller ones, the blues and the greens, scatter.
So you're saying that if we did a stealth sort of attack on the leadership, that would be the best strategy?
That's how we handle it, but we can turn invisible pretty much whenever we want to. It might be harder for you guys, and Sirius says, and not to be rude, but your clumping through the forest is very noticeable.
No.
I can be pretty stealthy.
Yeah, we're just feeling the joy of being amongst the trees. But yeah, Kashanon and I, we got some stealth in us.
We can try to sneak up on some, but while we're fighting some, you all can really get in there to the leaders, right?
Okay.
So maybe they'd be like going waves, like a stealth wave first, and stealthy. I like yell and call lightning when I engage, and that's not stealthy.
At which point Zep says, as long as I'm far away from anything that can hurt me, I'm fine. And I don't want to be breathing any spores that are going to kill me.
I will say that Zep is able to cast Blessing of the Trickster on someone else to give them advantage on stealth checks for, I think, 10 minutes. And he is also able to cast a duplicate of himself and have it run, do things in the battle. However, it's up to you guys if you want to make those decisions for Scott. But yeah.
I think Scott would be fine with somebody using a stealth bonus for people to use stealth. That seems like, and also he's used the image before. So, and metagaming wise, Zep is not a hands-on fighter.
Right. I'm also wondering if we are just facing a boatload, if Zep has anything that is like can attack multiple things at once.
I can tell you that.
Given that I think Kashanon can hit 2 things. I can only hit 1. Pando, I guess it would depend on whether you're spell or scimitar. Is that what you use?
Yeah. Scimitar and thorn.
Not really. He's got Guiding Bolt, Sacred Flame, Javelin, Mace, and that's pretty much it as far as the attacks go.
Okay, so then supporting, blessing, all that kind of stuff would definitely be great.
Yeah, I mean he's got Cure Wounds.
Right.
He can distract. I think that's a good idea to have him send an image because he needs to be 30 feet within the, but then he can also move it 30 feet forward.
Right.
If he starts 60 feet away from where he wants to project, they might not be able to find him if he's hidden, but he can project himself over there.
Over a hill. So I'm imagining that Kashanon, Pando go first up and over, do a surprise attack round, and then the rest of us would engage in a regular round next.
I don't know that gives us much advantage. I think the whole thing was the stealth was them going after the specific leadership on a stealth mission. It seems
Doesn't
like
sneak attack give whoever is sneaking an additional round, assuming they pass their
Oh,
stealth?
okay. If that's what you meant.
So
Am I-
if you wanted to come up on something and have a surprise attack, then people would act on a surprise round. That could, in theory, happen. But no, if you're hiding in battle, it just sometimes will give advantage on the attack roll.
No, I'm sorry. I meant like could Cashinon and Pando, if they and the whatever the fairies are that I didn't even remember.
Sprites. They're sprites.
Sprites. If they all attempted a surprise round, could they, if they passed everything they needed to pass, get in a round of attacks and then combat would start?
Yep. Yeah. That can happen.
Okay, that sounds great. Sorry.
The other thing, as you guys are talking, Cirrus cuts in for just a second and says, just a note that we usually employ poisons when we are fighting things. We have never found them to be effective against the grung. So if that's something that you are interested in trying, I would choose a different tactic.
Poisonings, you mean?
Yeah, poison doesn't seem to work on them.
Do we have any poison? I'm not a poison guy.
Just I stab things with my trident.
Yeah, we're pretty simple, if I'm being honest. I tend to hide and add support along with Zep. And Valerian and Cashinon charge in and cut people's heads off. And Pando,
You never really.
day.
Well, it does seem that perhaps we can send a small group ahead to scout out what we're seeing here. But if we do have large people, much larger than Grung, that can take out some of these individuals, some of the individuals while we go, that could help. And then to your point, Mr. Quentin Hallsteyer, was it?
Yeah.
We can do a more targeted approach on these creatures than their leadership. I think this could work. I think that we're a much more even-handled decision or team here. I would just say, for those of you who are going to be up close, be mindful of touching the grung's skin. They both employ poison that will do damage to you, that will hurt you, and upon touch, there can be some strange effects.
Thank you. All right.
I'll say the Pando, you've recently come into some new powers. Is a human or an elf the best form to fight a humanoid? These grunts, is there an animal that would particularly do well against them by any chance?
Sorry, was that a question for me?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. They will try to use animals whenever possible. The grung definitely try to capture some creatures and use them to their advantage. The UNT sometimes employ displacer beasts that come from the Feywild. They're panther-like creatures. That could be something you could try. And then Tangy says, the other thing is they're amphibious types, so they're in and out of the water pretty easily. So they're probably going to employ some of those tactics of jumping into the water. So if you could, I don't know, any animal that would thrive or be able to move around in water would probably be okay too.
Like maybe
I love water.
And Pando, I think you can also turn into an animal that can go in the water, I think.
What? We could go in the water together.
I can still do that.
I don't know. At 4th level, can you do that?
I don't think so. Well, you might be able to go into the water. I don't know that you get swim yet.
Oh, okay.
That might be 6.
Hold on, let me look up Druid.
Or actually, no, maybe it's 4.
Because I thought 4 had some animal stuff for her.
It
But
sounds like that could happen. I'm looking up the
Circle of the
wild shape improvement.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
At 4th level, you can magically assume the shape of a beast you've seen. Rating that doesn't have a fly speed. You can use the feature twice. Okay, so yes, I believe you now can use creatures that have a swim speed.
And Zep is wearing armor that makes him able to swim, I believe.
Yep.
Keep in mind, I don't know that he will be in it enough to use it, but that is something that we should remember.
And I believe that armor also is if he dies in water and starts to drown, it immediately moves him to the top. Yeah.
Yeah. His answer to that is, I hope it doesn't come to that, but I guess if it does. I'd prefer to stay out of the water. In fact, I'd prefer to stay out of battle, but...
Good Zep.
All right, well, listen, we're trying to get back over the Shimmer Ward pretty quick here, so if you guys are game now to do it.
And I'll just say this, Valerian, you've been doing an excellent job planning this fight, as have you. I'm so sorry. Are you Tangy or are you
Tangy? Yeah.
Okay, Tangy. Why don't you go ahead and what do you need me to do? You know?
Well, if we're gonna, it sounds like the plan is to scout ahead and maybe get a head start on this thing, and then send in the brutes as we go. So anybody who thinks that they can keep up and are a little bit stealthier with us will fly up ahead, and we'll make this thing happen. And I would say the bruisers maybe be safe distance. The forest seems to be on your side, so it might help you out a little bit here. Maybe stay at a distance. Don't get too close where you might clunk stuff up, but be in running distance.
All right, I'll go with you guys. I'm stealthy.
I'll stay back with Zep. Did Zep bless whoever he needs to bless?
Yeah, I would say Zep will stay back with the bruisers and support class. So you guys can decide who he's gonna bless.
Okay, so I'm gonna give the who's going up on stealth.
I'm going stealth.
I'll go stealth. Unless are you, Hallstar?
I'm also going stealth.
Okay.
Well, let's see. What does Zep look like in stealth?
Zep has
Plus
a
0.
0.
Yeah.
I think for Zep's gonna stay back. He will. When you said the bruiser should be the second wave, isn't our biggest bruiser Kashanon?
Her stealth is high, so my stealth is only +3.
Stealth is
Well, okay. So Zep's is +0, Vlarin. So he might just. You might want to have him be behind you, but if yours is +3, that's pretty good. If he gives you advantage, I think you guys could all be okay.
Hold on a second. Let's see. He can give. Yeah, he will give you advantage on dexterity on stealth checks for an hour. You Valerian. So why doesn't it be the Kashanon and Zep? And Panda, what's your stealth?
4.
4. So and what's yours, Kashanon?
+7. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, you should.
Oh.
You should go. Okay.
So, Danny, you were saying we all should go.
Sounds like it. And then Zep will just hold back. So what I'll say is if we end up doing a surprise round or something like that, Zep won't get an action in that. But we'll see what happens. And then he'll basically just come in a little later.
Panda, what was your check again?
+4.
Okay, 4. So we'll give it to Valerian for sure.
Question though, Danny, just mechanically, if I did a surprise round, I would rage. Would that screw up anybody who would happen to go after me in a surprise round, or because it's a surprise round, I could go last?
I mean,
or is
you could hold your turn to the end of that turn and rage if you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, we could.
And the idea would almost be that we would all be doing it at the same time, even though we would be doing it in whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's a surprise round and you guys are planning it a little bit, I would say that depending, even if the initiative order didn't work out, you could run in at the end of the surprise round and kind of take, Okay. So can I have everybody who's going in roll a stealth check?
All right. Zep gives Blessing of the Trickster to Valerian.
The sprites did not roll great, but they get a +8, so they still rolled a 14.
24 from
Yeah,
Quentin.
you did better than me. I got 18.
What'd you get, Valerian?
21.
Nice.
Panda, what'd you get?
Practicing my new trick. 17.
So you can, Sheila, go ahead and roll it on we practiced this on roll 20. You can hit that, the number next to it.
Sorry, how do you mean?
On the sheet,
Yeah.
where it says stealth, the 4 that's next to it, if you press that, a die should roll up.
I did.
Do
But
you have roll 20 up?
I do, but it's not showing up on roll 20.
That's weird. Sorry. Okay. I thought we had this worked out.
Tutoring session.
Okay, if you guys can look into roll 20, I've just changed the map for you all.
Woo!
And we're gonna go ahead and put your tokens on. Shout outs to this guy who I got this map from.
Wow.
Okay, let me go to my library and find you guys.
What are these red things? Are these?
All right, I'm putting you guys on the map. You can decide where you want to be.
Who's the white dude in the lab coat?
We will get to that.
He looks like an angry white gorilla,
That sounds about right.
like the guy from Primal or whatever it is, the video game.
Never seen it.
Okay, so the map's a little dense. It might be a little hard to see. Nate, I'm going to give you control of Zep as well.
Okay.
I'm just getting everybody on the map here. You guys can reorder yourself, and we'll kind of play as we
Oh, I see where you're putting this. Okay.
go here.
Bottom left, if anyone's zoomed in too much.
Got it. Okay.
So Zep is going to be far back, like pretty much where he is, right?
Yep, that's fine.
I don't know. Wasn't sure.
And then you guys can decide who's going up front and everything like that. Pando, you kind of blend in there, so sorry if you can't see yourself too well.
And we're all going after the higher ranked people.
Red.
Yeah,
Red
so,
dots first.
You're looking for they directed you towards red and purple. So immediately as you come up, it's hard to see the red ones among the flowers, but you do start to see a couple of them there. I would say immediately coming out of just for the functionality of this, immediately coming out of the I'm going to switch my view on the stream real